What's going on is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. I'm about to head into this restaurant. I literally just landed off a plane. Man, I'm rough. I ain't cleaned up. It's cool. It's cool, right? Turnaround flights is actually the best because I can go in, knock it out, get everything done that I want to get done, and then I can move on, right? So about to head into this restaurant and link up with some people and do a little bit of business. But before I do that, I was scrolling down Instagram because I posted an Instagram post today. And Instagram pissed me off, but I'm going to get into that later. I was scrolling down Instagram and I seen a guy that was practically crying because a woman is basically saying that she didn't want to be with him, right? And I don't understand that because I've always believed that men are happy regardless of their circumstance, but the problem is that they don't want to be under duress. Now, let me explain that for a minute. What that means is, it doesn't matter if you're here. It doesn't matter if you're not here. I am okay being alone, but I'm not lonely, right? I am okay being alone, but I'm not lonely. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be productive with you. I'm going to be productive without you. But if you are here and you add additional value, dope. But it doesn't mean that one monkey is going to stop a show. You know what I'm saying? And so you can't put all of your energy into one person. All of your energy should be going into you. Right? That's why they call her a helpmeet. And that's also why you can't be with anybody or you can't put stock in anybody that's not shooting with you in the gym because they have no equity in your life. And so to see a man crying and simping out over a woman that's not even his, bro, all you did was remove the barriers to entry, right? So you just vetted effectively the women that you shouldn't be with. And that's what guys got to understand. Listen, it's not that you lost her. You vetted through a woman that you wasn't supposed to be with, and you eliminated the time that you would spend with a woman that ultimately was going to be gone anyway. She not for you. She not yours. It was just your turn. It's very few women on this earth. And I know that this is an unpopular take, but I'm going to just tell you the truth. Because a lot of guys keep trying, oh man, I need to find me a wife. I need to find me a unicorn. A woman that's a good woman is a unicorn today. It's very, very, very few women on this earth. Very few. And when I say a few, I mean second to like hardly any that you need to be putting so much stock in that, they become almost an equity partner in what you got going on. If you're a guy that has already proven yourself and have gotten to certain levels, then she's not an equity partner, right? She's just a person that continues to buy into your vision and then is a part of the company, right? She's almost like a worker. But the reality is that, and I tell guys this all the time, you got to be selfish before you can be selfless. You can't be spending all of your time putting time into other people only for them to leave. And that's why the whole 50-50 conversation is a moot point, because why would I pay for everything and then give you a severance package after you leave when you don't add any value into what we talking about? That's the part of the 50-50 conversation that people are not really taking into consideration. Forget her, because a lot of the conversation is, well, she's already paying 100% of everything. Why wouldn't you want to go 50-50 with a guy? That's just logic on her end. We shouldn't even be speaking to how she feels. Look at it from your perspective. Why would you, first of all, never get married without a prenup, but why would you pay 100% of something to somebody, but they don't really add any value other than peace, right? Even in a business transaction, when I go into any company, and let's say, for example, I'm looking to partner with somebody in a company, right? I have to understand what value you bring into that company in order to give you any equity, right? I'm not just going to give you a piece of my company just because you showed up and you nice and you start smiling and you peaceful. They don't do that. Even when you hiring employees, let's say you got a startup and you're trying to recruit the best available talent in order to continue to grow your company and then ultimately, IPO it, take it public, or just make it a great company in general. The ones that get equity in the company are the ones that are really, really down to build it and also add value into the company. And so the fact that women can't even answer the question and say, well, this is what I bring to the table, or this is the value that I would add into your life, because A, they super stubborn, B, they so arrogant, and C, they have no humility in that they think that submission is actually something that puts them under duress. Submission is something that actually benefits you, right? When you go into a company, you submit to the vision of that company, regardless of whatever your skill set is, or you try to qualify to get into that company for your skills, with your skill set, to ultimately benefit from it, and they then becomes the beneficiaries of the greatness of the company. If the company go out of business, then you get laid off. And so we all submit to the vision of something, but it's all ultimately because it benefits us, right? You submit to the vision because you get money, you get a pension, you get whatever. And so you buy into whatever the CEO is talking about or whatever the corporate vision is for you in order for you to add value into it. You can't just go into a company and do whatever you want to do when you want to do it. You see what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody recruiting you, Willis. It's very few women that is recruitable, right? That's recruitable. And they already picked. So if you see a woman, it's single women are like unemployed workers. I'll be absolutely honest with you. Single women are like unemployed workers. It's a difference when you already got options. If you coming out of college and you did an internship and you being recruited and stuff like that, that's completely different from a person that just got laid off at the job. A person that got laid off at the job got to take what they can get. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they can be picky for a little bit until they start running out of money. And then when they ain't got no other options, or, you know, things start getting bad enough and they about to get evicted, then they got to start making some adjustments. Or they can just move back in with their parents. But the reality is that beggars can't be choosy. So now you are like the employer, because I don't care what society tell you. I don't care how equal they try to make it. I don't care about these diversity, equity, inclusion programs. None of that means anything to me. Here's the truth. You are the employer, right? And so you're the one that the buck stops here. You got to make the decisions. You the one that built the company. You already became great, whatever that is, right? And so because you're the employer, you then determine the terms by which you would have this person come into your company, something that you already built. You already got your own crib. You already got your own house. You already got your own cars. You got your own 401k, your money. You already got this vision that's set. Let me tell you something. I can't tell you how many times that I've seen women come into the lives of a guy and then ruin his life. I'll give you a story real quick. It's a woman. Well, okay, let me revise that. It was a guy that didn't have a really, really big job. He didn't make $100,000 a year or anything like that, but he did decent for himself, and he was comfortable, and he had already paid off his house. And it wasn't a big house, but it was a decent sized house. And, you know, he wind up meeting a woman that was one of these boss chicks, high powered, made over $200 and some thousand a year, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she wasn't that great as far as like all of that, but she was a career woman. And you know what I'm saying? I guess they fell in love, wind up getting married. She convinced this dude to sell his house, and then they wind up mortgaging and getting into a much bigger house that was more than double the price of what he was paying. Now, she didn't own her own house. He owned his house outright. He had already paid it off and everything. And so this was a little bit of an older couple. They was in their 40s. But he had worked very, very hard, and he was comfortable, and he was doing his thing. I'm not going to tell you what his career was. But, you know, he was a really good guy, and he was decent looking and all of that, right? And he was comfortable by himself, no children, all of that. Wind up getting her pregnant. She convinced him to get a bigger house, which they didn't need. And now she's pushing and saying, well, this guy is not pushing himself to be even greater. He not becoming better. He not, you know what I'm saying? He not trying to level up and meet me at my level. So she tricked him. She basically was a chameleonaire, and she came into his life. And ultimately, she convinced this dude to do something even more than he was comfortable with. And now this dude is under duress, and he's still sticking around with her for love and because he got her pregnant. And so as a result, he's stuck. But because he was focusing on love instead of executing on the vision that he had already planned for himself and then letting the woman come into that vision, he started partnering with this chick. And because he didn't pay attention to the signs and he wasn't vetting effectively, what ultimately happened is now he's under duress. He's stressed the fuck out more than he's ever been stressed out in his life. And ain't nothing he can really do about it because he already got her pregnant and he married her. And so this is the result. This is the residual effect. of putting yourself under duress or in a position that's ultimately not best for you because you didn't establish the rules, you didn't put things in perspective, and now she's the one that's bossing you around, and she not necessarily overtly bossing him around, but she's determining the course of his life that he was already comfortable with because he didn't set the ground foundation and the rules by which he was going to establish his relationship. And so he got with this chick that said that she wanted a man on her level, and now he got to suffer as a result of it. Now he got a fucking mortgage, and his house was paid off. He was comfortable, and now she fucking pushing this dude to make more money because she want a man that's on her level, and she tricked him into this situation. Be careful who you get yourself in a relationship with. Be careful of negotiating with terrorists or people that don't really have no options, because if they did, then they wouldn't be coming to you in the first place. Organically meet these people, network with them so you can see who they truly are, because dating ain't doing shit except for putting you in a position to have to fuck somebody. Instead, you don't really get to know who they are. You only get to know their representative. Whoever it is that they're putting on in order to impress you, not the person that they really are or who you're going to get when you marry. All right? I love you. I appreciate you. St. Patty's Day, so it's crazy in here. And I'm about to go and kick it with my people. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. God bless, man.